You're standing in a kitchen you've never seen. A woman is talking to you. Fast, urgent.
And somehow, you understand every word. Then you wake up, and you realize you don't speak that language at all.
This happens to thousands of people every night. Someone, somewhere, dreams in a language they've never studied, never spoken, sometimes never even heard outside one overheard conversation years ago.
So what is actually happening inside your skull when this occurs? Start with the brain itself. During REM sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming happens, your language centers don't go quiet.
Broca's area and Wernicke's area, the two regions responsible for producing and understanding speech, stay active.
Almost as active as when you're awake. Harvard psychiatrist J. Allan Hobson spent decades studying this. His activation synthesis theory says dreams aren't random noise. They're your brain pulling real stored fragments and stitching them into a scene. The language centers are running. They just don't have fluent material to work with. So they improvise. Here's the part almost nobody knows. You're absorbing language constantly, even when you're not trying to. Linguist Stephen Krashen built an entire framework around this called the input hypothesis. The idea: humans pick up language just from exposure, even without instruction, even without effort.
A grandmother speaking in the next room. A show playing in the background. A coworker on a call in a language you don't speak. None of it gets filed away as a lesson. But your auditory memory stores the sound of it anyway.
The rhythm, the cadence, the shape of the words, even without the meaning attached.
Your waking brain almost never pulls that material back up. There's no reason to.
You can't speak the language. So the memory just sits there, untouched. Sometimes for years. Dreams don't follow that rule. Sleep researcher Antonio Zadra at the University of Montreal has spent years analyzing thousands of recorded dream reports.
One of the clearest patterns? Dreams recycle whatever the brain was exposed to recently.
Sometimes from the last day, sometimes from a decade ago, triggered by something completely unrelated. Researchers call this the day residue effect. It's not new information. It's old information getting pulled from storage and dressed up in a new scene.
That's why the language in your dream feels so real while you're inside it.
Your brain isn't generating fluency. It's playing back the texture of a language you've heard. Draped over a conversation your sleeping mind is inventing in real time. The words feel complete in the moment because dreams rarely demand precision. You don't need to track every syllable to feel like you understood the sentence. Your brain just signals comprehension achieved and moves on. This is also why almost nobody can repeat what was said after waking up. Dream recall studies find the same gap over and over. Total clarity inside the dream. Total blankness the second you try to write it down. The feeling of understanding and the actual content were never the same thing. One was real. The other was your sleeping brain filling a blank it never checked. There's a second version of this that's even stranger. Multilingual dreamers. Research on bilingual and multilingual sleepers consistently finds the same thing. Which language shows up in the dream tracks? Whichever language dominated that person's day. Speak mostly Spanish at work and English at home, and your dreams shift language depending on which one was loudest that day. The brain isn't choosing a language, it's reflecting one. So the next time you wake up swearing you just had a full conversation in a language you've never learned, you didn't become fluent overnight. You were never actually speaking it.
Your brain just borrowed the sound of something you heard once, built a stage around it, and convinced you, just for a few seconds, that you understood every word.
You didn't learn a language in your sleep. You just found out how much your brain was listening, even when you weren't.